Chosen one, there is a knock at your door. You feel it in your chest more than you hear it with your ears. Everything around you seems ordinary. But inside, something suddenly pauses. Heaven leans in. Time slows down. You are not here by accident. This moment is not random. This is not just another video, another voice, another background sound in your busy day. This is a divine interruption. This is your doorbell from heaven. You were about to scroll past, to distract yourself again, to go numb for a little longer. But something inside you whispers, stay, listen, pay attention. The Spirit is tugging at your heart. Don't do it. No matter the price. Don't shut down. Don't push this away. Don't pretend you don't feel what you feel. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. The knock you feel in your soul right now is your God, calling you by name. You sense it, a package is waiting for you. Not on your physical doorstep, but in your spirit. It has your name written on it in letters only heaven could write. You have walked through too much, cried too many hidden tears, endured too many silent battles for this to be empty. This is not a prank. This is not a tease. God is not dangling something in front of you just to snatch it away. This is a real delivery, stamped with the seal of the King. For so long, you felt overlooked. Other people seemed to get their breakthrough, their relationships, their opportunities, their answered prayers. While you were left holding unanswered questions, you watched doors open for them while doors slammed in your face. You wondered if maybe you were forgotten, maybe you were passed over. Maybe you were meant to live small, quiet, and hidden forever. But heaven has kept receipts on every tear, every prayer, every sacrifice. You were never ignored. You were being prepared. Hell tried to convince you that nothing good was coming. Darkness tried to whisper that you were cursed, that you were rejected, that the promises spoken over you were nothing but fantasy. But if you listen carefully right now, even your fear is starting to tremble. Because what God sends, no demon can block. What God seals, no darkness can tamper with. This surprise from God does not arrive through human approval. It drops straight into your destiny. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 17. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In his love he will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. This is the God who stands at your door right now, not a distant, cold ruler, but the one who has carried you through every breakdown, every near collapse, every moment you thought you would not survive. The same hand that held you in the dark is now extending a gift in the light. The knock at your door is God saying, "You are not staying here. Get up. Open what I sent." This surprise is not just money, not just a relationship, not just a promotion, though God can use those. The deeper surprise is this clarity where there was confusion, boldness where there was fear, identity where there was insecurity, peace where there was chaos. The gift is a shift. Your mind is about to change. Your posture is about to change. The way you see yourself is about to align with the way heaven already sees you. You feel the resistance in you too. Part of you wants to believe, and part of you wants to shut down and say, nothing ever changes. That is the war at the doorway. Heaven is knocking. but your past is shouting. God stands with the package, but your trauma whispers, "Don't open it. You'll just be disappointed again." Listen to me. Chosen one, that voice of despair is not your protector. It is your prison guard. God is not mocking you. He is rescuing you. Right now, there is a line in the spirit. On one side is the version of you that settles, procrastinates, and numbs the pain. On the other side is the version of you that steps into calling, authority, and obedience. You are one decision away from stepping over that line. You are one moment of faith away from accepting that you are, in fact, chosen. Not perfect, chosen. Not spotless, chosen. Not always understood, chosen. Heaven has paused you here for a reason. Your spirit knows this is different. So let this be your first act of agreement with what God is sending. If this word is grabbing your heart, do not stay silent. Before you go any further, seal this moment like this message. Share it with another chosen one who needs to wake up. And subscribe so you don't drift away from the flow God is opening over your life. And as a prophetic act of faith, comment the number 777 below to declare, "I open what God has sent to me now." You stand at the doorway of this moment, and suddenly something begins to make sense. If the surprise is here now, that means there was a reason it did not arrive before. The enemy wanted you to interpret the silence as rejection, but heaven always meant it as strategy. You thought God forgot, but he was actually arranging. You thought he was late, but he was aligning. Every not yet over your life was not cruelty, it was covering. Think back to the seasons where you begged God, "Why not now? Why not this? Why not them?" You saw what you wanted, and it looked good to your eyes. It looked like stability, like love, like opportunity. But what you did not see was the hidden trap, the string attached, the spiritual cost behind the glitter. You saw the surface, God saw the roots. You saw the moment, God saw the timeline. There were people you wanted to keep who were secretly anchored to your destruction. If God had given you the surprise, then while they still sat at your table, they would have devoured what was meant to deliver you. There were places you begged to stay in that were slowly draining your spirit. If the door had opened in that environment, the very blessing you're receiving now would have been twisted into something toxic. Heaven loved you too much to grant you what would crush you. Waiting felt like punishment, but it was actually protection. Protection from your own impatience. Protection from relationships that smiled at your face but were threatened by your calling. Protection from systems that would use your gifting but never honor your soul. You were not stalled, you were shielded. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 25. The Lord is good to those whose hope is in him, to the one who seeks him. You thought you were just surviving delays. God saw you as the one who kept seeking, even when it hurt, even when nothing seemed to move. Each time you chose not to give up, each time you decided to hope again, pray again, try again, you were being positioned. Your hope became a magnet, pulling divine timing into your life. There were mornings when you woke up angry at God. You didn't say it out loud, but your heart whispered, "If you really cared, I wouldn't still be here. I wouldn't still be alone. I wouldn't still be struggling." Heaven heard those whispers and did not condemn you. Instead, God walked with you through them. knowing that one day you would look back and say, "Now I see it. Now I understand." This is that day beginning to rise. The delay was also about alignment. For the surprise to land properly, your heart had to be softened, your discernment sharpened, your identity clarified. If the package had arrived when you still needed everyone's approval, you would have handed it to the loudest voice in the room. If it had come while you were still desperate for validation, you would have traded it for attention. So God waited until something deeper formed in you, a quiet knowing that you are His, even if nobody claps. There were habits He had to pull out of you, mindsets He had to confront, cycles He had to break. You didn't see transformation when it was happening. It just felt like pain, loss, and stretching. But all that inner work was God clearing space in you, making room for what He wanted to give. You cannot pour a new anointing into an old wineskin. The waiting was God rewiring your capacity, and it was about timing, not just your timing, but the timing of those connected to your calling. There is someone on the other side of your obedience who needs the version of you that exists now, not the confused, diluted, half-awake version you used to be. Certain people had to walk into place. Certain doors had to build their hinges. Certain systems had to shift. What felt like delay was heaven synchronizing you with an unfolding plan. Now, as you stand in this moment, you begin to realize God did not miss the deadline. He wrote it. He did not fail your expectations. He is redefining them. The surprise did not come late. It came when it would no longer be a toy for your insecurity, but a tool for your destiny. You were not abandoned in the waiting. You were escorted through it, step by step, by a God who refused to lose you to premature blessings. The very time you thought was wasted has become the foundation under your feet, so that when you open what is being handed to you now, you can carry it without it carrying you away. As the timing of God starts to unfold in your life, something else becomes clear. Not every package at your doorstep is from heaven. While you were waiting, while you were aching, while you were questioning, the enemy was busy sending counterfeits, fake comforts, fake opportunities, fake connections, boxes wrapped in shiny paper, tied with glittering bows. But inside, decay, bondage, and distraction. You remember how many times something showed up just in time when you were weakest. A message from someone you knew was not good for your spirit, appearing the moment you felt lonely. A job that promised fast money but demanded you compromise your values. An opportunity that looked like favor but pulled you away from your prayer life, away from your purpose, away from your true self. Those were not random. Those were counterfeit packages, intentionally timed to intercept the real thing. The enemy watched your hunger and tried to feed it with poison disguised as provision. When you cried out for love, he offered you attention without covenant. When you longed for breakthrough, he offered shortcuts without process. When you asked for peace, he seduced you with numbness, addiction, and self-distraction. Hell does not mind you opening gifts so long as they don't come from God. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 14, "And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light." That means not every light is holy. Not every open door is divine. Not every blessing is a blessing. Some are bait. Some are traps crafted to look like answers to your prayers. while quietly pulling you off the path God designed. Look back at the moments you almost settled. You almost said yes to someone who only loved the idea of you, not the call on you. You almost tied yourself to environments that would have celebrated your gifts but strangled your spirit. You almost signed contracts in desperation that would have enslaved your time, your energy, and your peace. There were days you called those losses rejection, not realizing heaven called them redirection. God sometimes had to let a counterfeit break your heart so you would finally recognize the pattern, so you would finally say, no more almosts, no more fake peace, no more toxic blessings that cost me my soul. The pain you felt when counterfeits were removed was real, but it was also protective surgery. Spiritual amputation of what would have killed your calling if it stayed attached. Now that the true surprise is here, the war around you intensifies. The enemy knows he can no longer delay what God is sending. So his next strategy is distraction. If he can't stop the package from arriving, he will try to keep you busy opening the wrong ones. He will bring old habits back to your doorstep, old relationships knocking again, old opportunities resurfacing, just as the real thing comes into view. This is why your discernment has to sharpen. You cannot just ask, does this feel good? You must ask, does this bear the character of God? Does this pull me closer to Him or away from Him? Does this require me to hide parts of myself He has redeemed? Does this invite compromise into places He has already cleansed? The counterfeit always demands a piece of your integrity as payment. The real gift from God may stretch you, humble you, or challenge you, but it will never require you to betray who you are in Him. There is also such a thing as a counterfeit version of you, an image you feel pressured to put on, the version that smiles when you're breaking inside, the version that performs to be loved, the version that silences your convictions so you won't be rejected. That false self is also a package the enemy mailed to your identity. It promised you less pain if you just pretended. It lied. That counterfeit you could never carry the real surprise God is sending, because the gift is addressed to the real you. So this is a moment of holy exposure. God is not only delivering something to you, He is exposing what is not from Him around you. People, patterns, opportunities, even inner narratives that sound gentle but keep you small, they are being unmasked. You are starting to see who calls you only when they need, who claps only when you stay beneath them, who disappears whenever you choose obedience over convenience. Let that clarity hurt if it must, but do not ignore it. Right here, heaven is asking you to respond, to mark this shift, not just with emotion, but with a decision. I want you to go to the comments and type these 2 words, I choose. Type it as a prophetic act that you are choosing the real over the fake, purpose over distraction, obedience over compromise. Type I choose to declare that you will no longer open every box that lands at your feet just because it looks shiny or sounds urgent. From this moment, you choose to open only what your Father has sent, even if it means saying no to what your flesh still craves, or what your loneliness still misses. As you write it, let your spirit agree. I choose truth over illusion. I choose the timing of God over the urgency of my fear. I choose the surprise heaven prepared for me over every counterfeit I once settled for. Something begins to shift inside you before anything changes around you. The package is still unseen in the natural, but you can feel the seals starting to crack in your spirit. It's like the air around your soul grows heavier with meaning. You can't quite explain it, but you know something is opening. Something is breaking. Something long promised is finally moving from one day into now. Where there was numbness, you start to feel again. Where there was confusion, a strange clarity starts to rise. You begin to remember things God whispered to you in old seasons, prophetic dreams, random phrases, scriptures that stuck to your heart. Moments of deep conviction you brushed aside. They're resurfacing, not to haunt you, but to tell you this is the moment they were pointing to. The unwrapping has begun. The first layer that peels back is conviction, not the kind that shames you, but the kind that wakes you. You start to see where you've been shrinking, where you've been running, where you've been living beneath what God spoke over you. You feel a holy discomfort with the patterns you once excused. The conversations that used to entertain you now feel empty. The relationships that once felt comfortable now feel misaligned. Your spirit is telling you, you cannot carry this gift and those chains at the same time. Conviction is not God attacking you, it is God preparing you. You are not being condemned, you are being invited higher. The surprise He is unwrapping in you is too pure to be mixed with certain habits, certain mindsets, certain compromises. So the Spirit starts shining a light on hidden corners. Not because He is disgusted with you, but because He is determined not to lose you. Then clarity rises. Thoughts that used to swirl in chaos begin to settle into place. You start to understand why some doors never opened, why some people walked away, why your path looked so different from those around you. What once seemed random now carries a pattern. The pieces of your story begin to connect, and you see that the hand of God was on you even when you felt most alone. What you called wasted years, God is revealing as foundation years. You also gain clarity about who you are not. For so long, you tried to fit molds that did not match your calling. You tried to behave like everyone else, want what everyone else wanted, chase what everyone else was chasing. But now, as the seal breaks, you feel heaven gently but firmly separating your identity from expectation. You are not here to be a copy. You are not here to be a background character in someone else's story. You are marked, different, set apart for something specific. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 32, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Truth about God, truth about your calling, truth about what has held you, truth about who you are in Him. That truth is not just information, it is a key. It unlocks chains you got used to wearing. It unties knots you thought were permanent. It frees you from lies you didn't even know you had agreed with. With conviction and clarity comes courage. Not loud, reckless bravado, but a deep, steady boldness that begins to grow in the center of your chest. You may still feel fear, but it no longer has the final word. You start imagining yourself actually doing the things you once only dreamed about stepping out. Speaking up, breaking away, building what God told you to build. The thought of obedience no longer feels like a fantasy. It starts to feel like your new normal. Courage doesn't erase every trembling in your hands, but it gives you a reason to move anyway. You realize that if God is taking time to unwrap something inside you, then what He put in you must matter. You're not just surviving this life, you are carrying something for this generation. A word, a sound, a calling, a work, a mantle. The surprise is not just blessing for you, it is breakthrough through you. You might notice your desires changing. You crave more of His presence and less of empty noise. You hunger for authenticity and lose appetite for performance. You feel drawn to purity in your motives, in your habits, in your relationships. Old pleasures start to feel small and unsatisfying. That is the unwrapping. 2. God is not just handing you a gift, He is transforming you into someone who can guard it, grow it, and give from it. Every layer that opens in your spirit is proof that heaven is active, that God is near, that you are not imagining this. The unwrapping may feel messy at times, tears, memories, realizations, releases, but it is sacred work. Little by little, the person God always saw in you is stepping forward, as the shell of survival falls away. And as this happens, you are getting ready, not only to touch the surprise, but to walk fully in the life it requires. As the seal keeps breaking and the surprise of God begins to manifest, something unexpected happens. Not everyone around you rejoices. You imagine that when blessing comes, the room will fill with celebration. But instead, some faces go quiet. Some conversations grow awkward. Some people who were so available in your wilderness suddenly become distant in your breakthrough. The very gift God sends to lift you also becomes a light exposing hearts around you. Blessing is not just elevation, it is revelation. It reveals who was truly for you and who was only comfortable with you as long as you stayed small. Some people loved you because your struggle made them feel strong. Your confusion made them feel wise. Your dependence made them feel needed. But when God starts to clarify your mind, strengthen your steps, and increase your influence, something in them shifts. Your rise quietly confronts everything in them that chose to stay stuck. You start to notice subtle changes, jokes that have a sting, support that feels thin, silence when you share wins. They were loud when you cried, but strangely muted when you rejoiced. They were present when you were broken, but absent when you started to build. You realize some people were attached to your pain, not your purpose. They were comfortable with your wounds, not your wings. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 6, wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. The enemy does not always show up with open hatred. Often, he arrives with excessive flattery, constant access, and the appearance of loyalty until your blessing exposes his true motives. The ones who only offered you sweet words but never honest truth were never protecting your destiny. They were protecting their control. When God's surprise begins to unfold in your life, real friends may correct you, challenge you, or even temporarily pull back to seek God for how to walk with the new you. Don't mistake that for betrayal. Trusted wounds are those hard conversations, those moments of loving confrontation that call you higher. But pay attention to those who suddenly criticize every step forward, who turn your testimony into a competition, who quietly twist your elevation into arrogance in their own minds. Your blessing has become a mirror they cannot bear to look into. This exposure is painful, but it is also mercy. Imagine if God elevated you without revealing the hearts beside you. The same people smiling in your photos could have been plotting in your shadow. The same voices saying, "I'm proud of you," could have been secretly undermining you, leaking your plans, resenting your progress. So the Lord uses this season to sift, to separate those who can stand under the weight of your calling from those who are threatened by it. You may feel a fresh ache as some connections loosen. It is natural to grieve what once felt safe. You are not being cold or unloving. You are simply seeing clearly. The gift God is handing you cannot be handled by everyone. Some were only supposed to walk with you for a chapter, not the whole book. Others need distance so they can face their own hearts with God. No longer chase what heaven is exposing. Let those who need to exit. At the same time, notice the ones who lean in, the souls who quietly celebrate you without needing credit, the ones who pray for you without posting about it, the ones who clap when no one is watching, who offer counsel without jealousy, who are not intimidated by your growth because they know who you were and who you're called to be. These are the ones God highlights in this season. Your blessing will not intimidate them, it will inspire them. In the middle of this exposure, try to keep your heart soft. Do not allow disappointment to turn into bitterness. Ask God to help you release people without cursing them, to step forward without needing revenge, to learn the lesson without building walls so high that even His love feels far. Your blessing is not meant to make you suspicious of everyone, but discerning with everyone. And as you walk through this holy revealing, if this message is resonating deeply, if you can already feel God showing you who is truly for you, let this be a gentle, sincere moment between us. Stay connected. Like this message, if it's helping you see clearly, share it with someone else who might be wrestling with hidden enemies around a rising blessing. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so you can keep journeying through these revelations without walking alone. Not because numbers matter, but because your growth does. You are stepping into a season where your blessing will not just change your circumstances, it will clean your circle. And though it may hurt, it is making room for the people and relationships that match the weight of what God is placing in your hands. As the dust settles from the exposure, something else begins to rise: confirmation. For so long, you lived in a fog of maybe. Maybe I heard God. Maybe I made it up. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I ruined it. You second-guessed every prompting, every sign, every whisper from heaven. But now, as the surprise draws closer, God starts doing something He loves to do for His chosen ones. He confirms His word. This is not about chasing signs like a spiritual addict, always needing a new feeling to believe. This is about a faithful God who knows how fragile your heart has been, how often your hope has been disappointed, how carefully you guard yourself now. He knows you want to believe without being naive. He knows you long to trust again without being deceived. So, in His mercy, He begins to mark this moment with confirmation. You start to notice it first in your spirit. The same message comes to you from different directions. A phrase you heard in prayer suddenly shows up in a song, in a sermon, in something a stranger says. The same scripture keeps crossing your path. The same theme echoes again and again. You are chosen. You are being shifted. You are stepping into something new. You are not crazy for sensing this change. Heaven is repeating itself on purpose. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." That word is not just ancient ink on a page. It is living confirmation that what has hovered over your life is now moving into manifestation. The revelation over you has been waiting for this appointed time. It lingered, but it was never lost. It is now stepping into, will certainly come. You feel this shift in small, almost quiet ways. The heaviness you carried for years begins to lift. Your thoughts, once tangled, start to line up. A peace you cannot explain starts slipping into places that used to be constant chaos. Old temptations lose their power. Old fears lose their grip. You realize something inside you is different, and you did not do this by your own strength. That inner transformation is one of God's loudest confirmations. But God also knows you live in a physical world, scrolling through physical screens, walking through physical days. So sometimes He gives you a simple, tangible way to respond, a visible act in a digital place that marks an invisible yes in your spirit. That's what this moment is. Right now, heaven is offering you a chance to step out of "I kind of feel this" and into "I agree with this." To move from spectator to participant. You've been listening, nodding, maybe even tearing up. But there is power in putting your agreement into action, even a small one. So here is your prophetic act. Go to the comments and write this number 444. Not as magic, not as superstition, but as a visible declaration that you hear God confirming His word over you. Let 444 mean this between you and heaven, Lord. I agree with your appointed time. I agree with your confirmation. Establish in my life what you have spoken. Those 3 digits become like a lifted hand in the spirit. A simple yet weighty yes. I receive. You are not just passively hoping anymore. You are actively aligning. Every time you see that number after this, you will remember this moment not as a random coincidence, but as a reminder God is establishing you. He is firming your foundation. He is surrounding you with His order and His timing. Maybe part of you feels silly. It's just a number in a comment section. But remember, God has always used small, symbolic acts to mark big spiritual shifts, lifting a staff, walking around walls, dipping in a river, touching a hem. The power is not in the object, the power is in the obedience. Right now, your keyboard becomes an altar, and your comment becomes a small act of faith that heaven takes seriously. As you type 444, let it be your quiet rebellion against doubt. You are saying, I am done agreeing with confusion. I am done agreeing with delay as my identity. I am done agreeing with the lie that I am forgotten. You are stepping into agreement with the God who says, I have not forgotten. I am right on time. I am confirming what I began in you. This is more than digits on a screen. It is you opening your mouth in the digital realm to echo what your spirit is feeling. It is you pressing send, not just on a comment, but on a response to God. I believe you are speaking. I believe you are moving. I believe the surprise is real. And I believe this is my appointed time to step into it. As confirmation settles into your spirit, something else begins to happen that you can't ignore. God starts calling you to move differently. The surprise He is sending is not just something you hold, it is something that changes how you walk. The gift doesn't fit into your old rhythm, your old pace, your old circle, or your old habits. To carry this, you cannot move like you used to. You start to sense a holy impatience with the way you've been living. The endless scrolling, the late-night distractions, the conversations that drain you but never feed you. Suddenly, they feel heavier than before. What once felt normal now feels costly. The spirit is whispering, "You cannot bring this new thing into that old pattern. If you keep walking like that, you will drop what I am placing in your hands." The surprise comes with unseen instructions written in the spirit. Slow down here. Speed up there. Step back from that. Lean into this. You might not receive a full blueprint, but you start noticing specific nudges. Go to bed earlier. Wake up with intention. Guard your first hour. Limit that voice. Stop rehearsing that wound. Replace that song. Turn off that show. It's not about legalism, it's about capacity. God is stretching your ability to hold what He's about to pour. People around you may not understand. To them, it looks like you're doing too much or getting too spiritual, but you can feel it. The room inside you is being rearranged. You are clearing shelves, deleting files, closing tabs, not because someone forced you, but because your spirit is instinctively making space. You are starting to move like someone who knows something priceless is on the way. The ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That is what is happening to you. The world taught you one pattern: hurry, hustle, self-promotion, endless noise, but the Spirit is teaching you another: renewal, focus, obedience, quiet strength. You are not just called to believe differently, you are called to move differently. This shift touches your pace. There were seasons where you tried to outrun your emptiness, filling every hour so you wouldn't have to feel. But now, God is slowing you down in certain areas so you can actually hear Him. You may find yourself saying no to invitations that look fun but drain your growth. You may feel led to carve out time to read, to pray, to reflect, to plan. Heaven is adjusting your speed so you don't rush past the very instructions that protect your gift. At the same time, there are places where God is speeding you up. Procrastination that once felt normal now feels dangerous. You sense that putting things off is no longer harmless, it's costly. Delayed obedience suddenly looks like disobedience. There are ideas He gave you that you kept on the shelf. Now you feel urgency. Write it. Start it. Record it. Send it. Say it. Not recklessly, but responsively. The window is open. The wind of God is moving. You are being called to move with it. Your circle is shifting too. The gift requires a different level of surrounding. You find yourself drawn to voices that challenge you, that sharpen you, that pull you toward God, not away from Him. At the same time, you feel a quiet distancing from people who are content to stay stuck, who mock growth, who live in endless cycles of drama and never taken steps. You still love them, but you cannot walk at their pace anymore. It's not that you think you're better, it's that you know you're called. And calling comes with responsibility. You are realizing that the people closest to you will either help you guard this surprise or help you waste it. So you begin to choose more carefully. You listen for fruit, not just words. You pay attention to consistency, not just potential. God is teaching you to steward your access to who you give it to and who you receive it from. Then there are your habits, the small, daily choices that once felt insignificant. Under this new light, They look like doorways. Some open you to more of God's presence, others quietly drain your strength. You see how your phone, your food, your thoughts, your entertainment, your routines all shape your readiness. The surprise is real, but so is your responsibility. Grace is free, but growth is partnered. This is not about perfection. You will not suddenly become flawless. You may stumble, adjust, relearn, but the key difference is this: you are no longer comfortable living on autopilot. You feel watched over, guided, fathered by God in the details. Every adjustment He asks for is not punishment, it is protection for what He's placing in you. The call to move differently is proof that you are trusted with more. People who are not carrying anything fragile can run recklessly, but those who carry something holy walk with care. That's you now. Heaven is adjusting your stride, because the weight of glory on your life is increasing as God adjusts your pace, your circle, and your habits. Another layer of this surprise unfolds, a layer most people don't talk about. Before you can fully receive what heaven is handing you, you face a test. Not an exam on your knowledge or your performance, but a test of posture. Will your hands be open, or will they stay clenched? You may not realize how tightly you've been holding things. Old plans, old identities, old expectations of how your life should have looked by now. You hold on to people who already left in their hearts. You cling to backup plans because you're afraid God might drop you. You grip your own understanding like a life raft, because trusting His way feels like stepping off a cliff. The surprise God is sending cannot be forced into closed fists. It is too big, too pure, too free to fit into a grip built from fear and control. So the Spirit gently, sometimes painfully, begins to pry your fingers open. He doesn't rip everything away in one violent moment. Instead, He starts touching the things you cling to and asking, "Will you trust me with this? Will you let me rearrange this? Will you release your version so I can give you mine?" You might feel this as restlessness, as dissatisfaction with what once felt secure. Doors you tried to force won't budge. Plans you idolized start to crumble. People you leaned on too heavily become distant or unreliable. It's not that everything is collapsing for no reason, it is that God refuses to let your destiny rest on foundations that cannot carry it. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. That lean not is where the test lives. You are used to leaning on what you can predict, control, and explain. Now God is asking you to lean into Him instead, into a will that often makes sense only in hindsight. Open hands look like surrender, but they actually are strength. When your hands are open, you are no longer spending all your energy clenching, protecting, and hiding. You become free to receive, free to let go, free to be guided. Closed fists feel powerful, but they are exhausting. You grip so hard you forget what peace feels like. You become your own guard, your own provider, your own savior roles you were never designed to carry. This test shows up in specific choices. God may ask you to release a relationship that feels familiar but is spiritually draining you. He may ask you to walk away from an opportunity that looks impressive but steals your integrity. He may nudge you to forgive someone who never apologized, not to excuse them, but to free you. Each time, the battle inside is the same. If I let this go, Will I lose? Will I end up empty? But the kingdom doesn't work like the world. In heaven's economy, what you release in obedience never leaves your life empty. It creates space for what truly belongs. God is not asking you to throw away your future. He is clearing out the counterfeits, the idols, the safety nets that stand in the way of the real thing. Your open hands become His landing place. There is also the surrender of timing and method. You may accept what He promised, but still secretly demand how He must do it. Yes, God, bless me, just do it through this person, this job, this pathway, by this age. When those specifics don't happen, you begin to panic, thinking the promise has failed. But often, it's not the promise that needs to die. It's your script for how it should look. Open hands say, Lord, I still believe you, even if you don't use the people I expected, even if it doesn't arrive in the package I dreamed of, even if it takes a form I wouldn't have chosen. I trust your heart more than my plan. That kind of surrender terrifies the flesh, but liberates the spirit. It is the posture of someone who is ready for a true surprise, not an edited version of God's will, but the full, wild, holy version. This test is not about God trying to catch you failing. It is about Him revealing what still hurts, what still fears, what still clings. Every time you open your hands a little more, you are saying, I believe you are good. I believe you are better at being God than I am. And with each release, the space in your life grows. Space for joy, space for peace, space for new assignments, new alignments, new levels of anointing. You may feel grief as you let go, and that is okay. Surrender is not numbness. It often comes with tears. But those tears water the ground where new things will grow. Your job is not to understand everything. Your job is to stay open. The surprise is coming, and it was never meant to be squeezed into fear. It was always meant to rest in open, trusting hands. There comes a point where sensing is no longer enough. You've felt the knock. You've seen the counterfeits. You've watched God unwrap things in your spirit. Your pace is shifting. Your hands are opening. But heaven is not just after your emotions. Heaven is after your response. The surprise God is sending is not only received in silence, it is activated in agreement. So many times before, you felt moments like this, stirrings, convictions, glimpses of who you could be, and then you let them pass. You told yourself, I'll change later. I'll start tomorrow. I'll surrender when life is less stressful. But later turned into loops. Tomorrow turned into next year. Conviction faded. Fire cooled. And the enemy stole what God tried to ignite. This time is different. Not because you feel stronger, but because God is calling you to respond differently. No more admiring the word from a distance. No more treating destiny like a movie you watch instead of a life you live. This moment is about turning hearing into doing, stirring into stepping, awareness into action. Inside, you know this. You can feel the tension. Your spirit is leaning in, while your fear is leaning back. One voice says, this is for you. Another voice says, don't risk it. Don't expose your heart again. Just stay neutral. But neutrality is an illusion. When heaven speaks and you refuse to answer, silence is not neutral. It is a decision. The ancient words recorded in the letter of James, chapter 1. Verse 22. Do not merely listen to the word, and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. There it is, the line in the sand. Listening is not the finish line, it is the starting point. You can listen to truth and still live bound if you never respond. You can feel all the chills, cry all the tears, and yet walk back into the same chains if you never act on what God speaks. Right now, heaven is inviting you into a different pattern. You are not just a consumer of spiritual content, you are a carrier of spiritual calling. God is asking you to move from spectator to participant. From that was powerful to that changed me. This requires a yes, a simple, sincere, fully present yes. It doesn't mean you suddenly understand every detail of what's coming. It doesn't mean you never feel afraid again. It means that with the understanding you have, in the moment you're in, you choose to answer, you choose to acknowledge out loud, God, I hear you. I'm not going to pretend I didn't. I'm not going to brush this off. I'm not going to drown this moment in noise. There is something powerful about putting your response into words, not vague, not hidden, but clear. In Scripture, people often answered God with short, direct phrases that marked their surrender. Here am I. Speak, Lord. Yes, Lord. These weren't speeches, they were doorways. Every simple reply opened a path for heaven to move in a new way. So right here, right now, I want you to mark your yes in a way you can't easily erase or deny. Go to the comments and write this short phrase, I respond now. 3 simple words, not dramatic, not complicated, but loaded with weight. When you type I respond now, you are declaring that this is not just another moment you'll forget. You are saying, I will not file this away as a nice message. I am choosing to let this confront me, change me, and move me. Those words become a witness against every habit of delay that has kept you locked in cycles. I respond now means you are breaking agreement with procrastination in the spirit. You are rejecting the old lie that says, I have time to stay the same. You are choosing obedience while the conviction is fresh, instead of waiting until the feeling fades and the excuses return. Heaven sees that. Heaven honors that. As you write it, don't just let it be text on a screen. Let it be a vow between you and God. I respond now with my heart, with my choices, with my lifestyle. Maybe your next response will be a conversation you finally have, a habit you finally confront, a step you finally take that you've been afraid to take. You don't have to know all of that yet. Your first job is simply to say yes. This is your activation point, not the end of the journey, but the beginning of movement. The big surprise God is bringing isn't just something that happens to you, it's something that happens with you. Your voice, your will, your yes matters. So let this be the moment heaven looks at you and says, they heard me and they answered, not just in their feelings, but in their words, not just someday, but now. As your yes begins to echo in the spirit, the surprise starts revealing one of its most powerful dimensions, upgrade. Not the shallow kind the world obsesses over: new filters, new outfits, new labels, new followers, but a deep, holy elevation no human being can manufacture. This is the upgrade no one can fake. You begin to notice it first in your words. For years, you spoke and felt ignored, overlooked, unheard. You would pour out your heart, and it seemed to hit the floor. But when God places his hand on you in this way, something shifts. The same voice, the same mouth. But now there is weight behind what you say. Not volume. Weight. People lean in differently. Conversations that used to stay surface level suddenly go deep. When you encourage someone, it doesn't just make them feel better for a moment. It breaks something off them. This is what happens when heaven backs your voice. Your words stop being just opinions floating in the air. They become carriers of atmosphere. When you speak life, the room lifts. When you declare truth, confusion starts to clear. When you say no to darkness, it has to move. Not because you are perfect, but because you are surrendered, and God trusts surrendered vessels with authority. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Colossians, chapter 4, verse 6, "Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone." That's the mark of this upgrade. Your speech is not just sharper, it is graced. It cuts through fog without cutting people down. It carries flavor, preservation, and power. Then your choices gain weight too. Decisions you make in this season reach further than before. When you choose obedience, it doesn't just bless you, it ripples into your family, your friendships, even into people you haven't met yet. When you draw a boundary, it doesn't just protect your peace, it shifts your entire atmosphere. All because God is putting more authority on your yes and more seriousness on your no. This is why the adjustments in earlier sections were so important. God doesn't pour heavy authority into a life that refuses alignment, but because you have allowed him to touch your habits, your circle, your pace, he can now trust you with decisions that matter on a larger scale. Suddenly, a simple act of obedience, sending a message, starting a project, stepping away from compromise becomes a trigger for heaven's activity in ways you cannot see yet. Your name begins to carry a different kind of favor too. Not the kind that comes from people-pleasing or constant self-promotion, but the favor that flows from God's endorsement. Rooms you never tried to push into begin to open. People you never thought noticed, you begin to mention your name in places you've never been. Opportunities find you that you couldn't have engineered if you tried. This favor doesn't make you better than anyone, it simply marks you as someone God is using on purpose. For purpose. And yes, the enemy hates that. He'll whisper that you're arrogant, that you're imagining it, that you don't deserve it. But favor is never about deserving, it's about assignment. God is not favoring you instead of others, he is favoring you for others to reach them, to serve them, lift them. With this upgrade comes a new level of responsibility. Your words can encourage now, but they can also wound more deeply if you're careless. Your choices open doors, but they can also shut doors if you step out of alignment. Your favor can draw the right relationships, but it can also attract the wrong ones if you forget who sent it. This is why staying low before God is essential. The higher he lifts you, the lower your heart must bow. In the middle of this, you may feel a strange mixed gratitude, awe, and even a little fear. God, why me? Why trust me with this? That humility is beautiful and safe. It keeps you anchored. Every time you sense yourself drifting toward pride or performance, come back to the secret place. Remember, the upgrade is not your brand, it is your stewardship. What he puts on you comes from him and is meant to flow back to him in glory. And as you're reading this, if you can feel that quiet confirmation, that sense of, this is exactly what's happening to me, I want to gently ask something of you from a sincere place. These words are meant to serve you, to meet you where you are. If they are doing that, if they're giving language to your journey, would you take a moment to like this message? Share it with someone else you know is being quietly upgraded by God. And subscribe so you can keep walking this path with consistent encouragement. Not for vanity, not for numbers, but because every time this reaches another chosen one on the edge of giving up, another life gets realigned. And staying connected simply means you don't have to navigate this new level alone. You are stepping into an upgrade the world cannot imitate. Algorithms can't manufacture it. Aesthetic can't copy it. Only God can place this kind of weight on a life, and He chose you to carry it. With all this upgrade and confirmation, you might have expected the story to get easier. More favor, more support, more understanding, right? But instead, you begin to feel something sharp and familiar, the sting of being misunderstood. You thought that once you started walking in clarity, once you surrendered, once you aligned with what God was doing, people would finally get you. They would see your heart, see your growth, see your obedience. Some do, but others, they start whispering, questioning, misreading, rewriting your motives in their own minds. You feel it in strange ways. Someone says, "You've changed," but not as a compliment. Another accuses you of thinking you're better now, when the truth is you feel more dependent on God than ever. You set a boundary to protect what God is doing in you, and they call it pride. You get quiet to listen to God more, and they call it distance. It hurts, because they don't see the tears behind your obedience. They don't see the wrestling at night, the prayers you pray for them, the inner battles you fight before making every hard decision. They only see the surface you saying no to what you used to say yes to. You stepping out when you used to shrink back. You choosing the will of God over the comfort of your past. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 19, "If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you." That hate does not always show up as open hostility. Often, it looks like subtle rejection, coldness, sarcasm, constant second-guessing, or resistance to your growth. You are feeling the friction of no longer belonging to the systems, patterns, and expectations that once shaped you. You are not trying to offend anyone. You are not waking up saying, "Who can I distance today?" You are simply walking in a new direction. And some people interpret your obedience as an attack on their comfort. There is also the ache of being misread by those you love most. Family who think your hunger for God is a phase or an exaggeration. Friends who claim you're too intense now when you're just finally serious about what's on your life. People who once celebrated your calling from afar, but now that it is getting real, pull back because it confronts their own stagnation. Chosen one, hear this. Their misunderstanding is not always a sign that you've gone wrong. Many times, it is confirmation that you've gone deeper. Light exposes, truth divides, calling separates. When you step into who you truly are in God, it will inevitably create distance from those committed to staying who they've always been. That doesn't mean you become harsh or hard. It means you learn to live with a holy loneliness, a sense of being seen by God even when you're not fully seen by people. You begin to understand Jesus in a new way. How he moved with love but was constantly misjudged, questioned, accused. You taste a small fraction of what it means to be set apart. In this season, the temptation is to shrink back to avoid the sting, to water down what God is doing in you so you can stay relatable, likable, uncontroversial, to go back to old patterns just so people will relax and stop complaining you've changed. But understand this, to protect people's comfort at the cost of your calling is not love. It is disobedience dressed as kindness. You can love them without lying about who you are becoming. You can honor them without halting your growth. You can be gentle without dimming the light God is igniting in you. It is possible to walk in both truth and love, but truth must still be truth. Even when love is misunderstood, there will also be times when God uses misunderstanding as part of his separation process. Some connections cannot go where you're going. Some rooms cannot handle the weight of what you carry. Instead of always giving you a detailed explanation, God may allow misunderstanding to create the distance needed for your protection. It is painful, but it is purposeful. Your job is not to chase everyone down and make them understand. Your job is to walk in integrity before God, to keep your heart clean, your motives pure, your spirit humble, to be willing to explain when he leads you, but also willing to release when he doesn't. Not every story needs defending. Not every opinion needs correcting. Sometimes, silence is your offering, and obedience is your defense. In those moments when the loneliness bites, remember, you are not actually alone. You are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, by others across the world walking through similar fires, by angels, by the presence of God himself, who never misreads you, never misquotes you, never misjudges your heart. He knows every reason behind every yes. He sees every tear behind every boundary. He understands you fully, even when no one else does. Let that comfort you, even as you feel the sting. Let it also strengthen your resolve. You were never called to be understood by everyone. You were called to be obedient to one, and he, the one who chose you out of the world, is the same one who will sustain you when the world does not understand why you no longer belong to it. The more you walk this path, the more you realize there are moments when heaven presses in closer, when the atmosphere around your life feels thick, when everything in you knows you are standing at a crossroads, not just a small decision, but a defining one. This is one of those moments. You can feel the tension. On one side, there is weariness, disappointment, and the temptation to quietly drift back into old patterns. On the other side, there is a pull toward deeper surrender, bolder obedience, and unapologetic alignment with what God is doing in you. You stand in between, feeling the pressure from both directions. Spiritually, this is like standing between two kingdoms. One whispers, relax, tone it down, blend in, go back to what you know. The other whispers, come higher, go deeper, step fully into who I called you to be. You feel stretched, you feel tested, you feel the cost of whichever path you choose. This is where many chosen ones have turned back before, not because God wasn't speaking, but because the pressure felt too intense. The misunderstanding hurt too much. The inner warfare felt exhausting. The old life, though painful, seemed easier than the unknown path of radical obedience, and so they settled half awake, half alive, half obedient. But you are different. You wouldn't still be here if you weren't. You could have scrolled away. You could have shut your heart down again. Yet something in you refuses to. Something in you is tired of almost surrendering, tired of half yeses, tired of living on the fence. Heaven sees that. And right now, at this peak of spiritual tension, God is not just watching you, He is calling for a stand. Not a stand of ego or self-righteousness, but a stand of covenant, a public, visible, intentional alignment with what He is doing in your life, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old, the ancient words recorded in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. That is the weight of this moment. Life or death, not just physically, but spiritually. Not just for you, but for those connected to your calling. Every time you choose obedience, you choose life. Every time you choose compromise, you flirt with death, death of purpose, death of clarity, death of fire. God is not threatening you. He is warning you because He loves you. You are closer than you think to stepping fully into what He promised, and also closer than you realize to numbing yourself back into spiritual sleep. One rebellion away from blindness. One more delay away from a heart that stops feeling. One more "I'll do it later" away from losing the softness that still responds when God speaks. This is why He marks moments like this with signs, not childish games, but sacred reminders. Sometimes those signs show up in timing, in words, in people, and sometimes they show up in something as simple as a number that becomes a banner over a decision. Right now, heaven is inviting you to make a choice you cannot easily take back. A visible act in a public place that says, I choose life. I choose obedience. I choose to stand with what God is doing in me, even if it costs me comfort. Here is your prophetic act for this moment. Go to the comments and write this number 999. Let 999 mean this between you and God. This is my ending and my beginning. I am closing the chapter of half obedience and stepping into complete surrender. What needs to end in me? Let it end. What needs to begin? Let it begin. You are not typing a random sequence. You are drawing a line in the spirit. You are saying, I will not drift back. I will not keep playing with both sides. I am choosing life. Fully. Consciously. Deliberately. 999 becomes your declaration that this is not just another emotional moment that fades. It is a spiritual turning point, a hinge in your story, the end of old cycles, the beginning of a new walk, the end of constantly negotiating with God, the beginning of simply obeying Him. As you write it, feel the weight of what you're choosing. You are choosing to let certain habits die. You are choosing to let certain relationships shift. You are choosing to let your old self go silent. You are choosing to let the Spirit lead, even when it stretches you. Heaven and earth are witness. But more importantly, your own heart will be a witness. When you are tempted later to go back, this moment will stand in your memory as a reminder I chose life. I chose obedience. I chose to stand with God at the peak of tension. This is not just about numbers. It is about alignment. It is about covenant. It is about finally stepping out of the gray and into the blazing, yes, you were always meant to live. After a choice like that, after you stand in the tension and say, I choose life, I choose obedience, something begins to shift around you. It's not just internal anymore. In the unseen, a hinge turns. In the spirit, a lock clicks. And before long, you begin to notice what that decision has opened a door. It may not look like a grand stage or a dramatic spotlight. Sometimes the door appears quietly as an unexpected opportunity. A conversation that wouldn't have happened before. A connection that feels strangely appointed. A sudden clarity about what you're meant to do next. Other times, it is more obvious: a job offer, a project, a divine meeting, a relocation, an invitation that carries unusual peace. Deep down, you sense it. This is not just another option. This feels like a door God Himself has set before you. But as you move closer to it, you notice something you didn't fully expect. The door is open, but the way through it is narrow. You realize you cannot step into this next place carrying everything and everyone the way you did before. Certain patterns don't fit. Certain mindsets don't fit. Certain attitudes, attachments, and compromises simply will not pass through. You feel it in your spirit like a divine squeeze. You see where you've tried to drag old behavior into new seasons and hit invisible resistance. Doors that look wide in the natural feel tight in the spirit. You stand there, understanding this is not a hallway for the half-committed. This is a passage for the surrendered, as Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 14, "But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." Those words suddenly stop being a distant Bible verse and start becoming the exact description of the path in front of you. The gate before you is small. The road ahead of you is narrow. But the promise attached to it is life, real life. God-breathed life, purposeful life. The world loves wide roads with low standards. Do what you want. Go where you want. Say yes to everything and belong everywhere. But the kingdom works differently. It offers a road that actually leads somewhere holy and whole, but that road requires intention. You do not drift onto it by accident. You choose it. Step by deliberate step. As you edge closer through this narrow way, you begin to feel a holy restriction. Not punishment, but protection. There are topics you no longer have the grace to entertain. There are jokes that used to make you laugh that now leave your spirit unsettled. There are spaces that used to feel normal that suddenly feel heavy, dark, or draining. What changed? You did. The presence on you did. The assignment on your life came into focus. And now your atmosphere must match it. Your standard for access to you starts to shift. You realize your time, your attention, your energy are not cheap. You can still love many, but not all can walk closely. Not everyone can handle the pressure of your calling, the seriousness of your process, the weight of your transformation. Some people prefer the version of you who stayed on the wide road with them. They may not understand why you're suddenly more intentional, more guarded, more focused, but you know why. You also start to ask different questions about the open doors in front of you. Instead of, "Is this exciting?" you begin to ask, "Is this aligned?" Instead of, Will this make me look good, you ask? Will this make me more obedient? Instead of, does this give me more, you ask? Does this draw me closer to the will of God for my life? The narrow path demands discernment. Not every opportunity is a God door, even if it swings wide and looks impressive. At times, this road can feel lonely. The crowd on the wide path seems louder, more relaxed, less conflicted. They can say yes to almost anything. You cannot. They can live divided, part surrendered, part indulgent. You cannot. Not because God loves them less or you more, but because He has trusted you with a particular weight, and weight requires structure. Yet, in that narrowness, you discover a strange freedom. You are no longer scattered in 10 directions. Your yes and your no become clear. You stop performing to belong in rooms you've outgrown. You discover the peace of walking with a clean conscience, a focused spirit, and a sense of I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, even if others don't understand it. This open door is more than an external opportunity. It is an invitation into a higher standard, a standard for relationships. So you no longer cling to what breaks you, a standard for your gift. So you no longer bury it or abuse it, a standard for your thoughts. So you no longer let anything and everything live rent-free in your mind. Few truly find this road, and fewer stay on it. But you have survived too much to go back now. You did not come this far just to stand in front of the gate and stare. You were always meant to walk through lighter, leaner, more surrendered into the life that narrow road is leading you toward. As you walk through the narrow door, you begin to see the surprise more clearly. It's not just a feeling anymore, not just an inner shift, not just an invisible promise hanging over your head. It starts to take shape, a gift, an anointing, an opportunity, a mantle. And at first, part of you wants to breathe out in relief and say, finally, this is for me. This is to comfort me. Yes, it will comfort you. Yes, it will bless you. Yes, it will heal parts of you that were shattered by old seasons. But very quickly, God begins to make something crystal clear. This surprise is not just for you to hold, it is for you to carry to others. There is a mission attached. You were not pulled out of darkness just so you could sit in the light and admire the view. You were not rescued from cycles just so you could say, at least I made it out. Every valley you walked through, every night you cried, every battle you survived has been woven into an assignment bigger than your personal comfort. God is too intentional to waste your pain. You start noticing how your story speaks. People around you lean in when you share where you've been. Your transparency disarms shame in them. Your survival gives them hope that maybe, just maybe, they are not too far gone either. You realize that what once made you feel disqualified is now the very thing that makes you relatable, credible, and dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. According to what is revealed in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 10, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Those good works are not random good deeds you toss into your week when you feel like it. They are pre-planned, heaven-written assignments tied directly to the way God has shaped your life. Every part of your journey has been chiseling you into handiwork, not a mass-produced copy, but a one-of-one design. The way you think, the battles you've fought, the victories you've tasted, the compassion you carry, the convictions you refuse to drop, these are all clues to the mission attached to your surprise. You may not have a title, a platform, or a microphone, but make no mistake, your life is a message. The surprise God has given you a new level of peace, a deeper revelation, a sharpened gift. An elevated calling is a message from heaven to the earth. It says, "This is who God is. This is what He can do. This is what He still breaks, heals, rebuilds, and restores." The mission may look different for each chosen one. For some, it will be words, teaching, preaching, writing, singing, creating content that carries fire instead of empty noise. For others, it will be presence, being that one stable, loving, spirit-filled person in a family full of chaos. For some, it will be innovation, ideas, businesses, solutions that reflect the wisdom of God in practical ways. For others, it will be intercession, silent battles on their knees that shift things in the unseen. Whatever it looks like, the core is the same. The surprise is a tool, not a trophy. You are not meant to polish it and hide it in a glass case. You are meant to use it until it touches lives, breaks chains, opens eyes, and points people back to God. This is why the process was so intense. If it were just about you enjoying the gift, the journey could have been lighter. But because this is about nations, families, bloodlines, and generations, the preparation had to be deep. You are not carrying a small, private blessing. You are carrying a move of God in seed form. With this mission comes weight, but also joy. There is a unique fulfillment that flows when you start walking in what you were actually made for. The emptiness you felt in old environments begins to lift. The confusion about "why am I even here" starts to fade. You wake up with a sense of purpose that may not always be glamorous, but is deeply satisfying. And yet, you will have to guard this mission carefully. Comfort will call you to quiet down. Fear will tell you you're not qualified. Comparison will try to convince you your assignment doesn't matter because it doesn't look like someone else's. You will have to remember, again and again, that you are God's handiwork, not man's product. Your mission is measured by obedience, not applause. The surprise is here, but it is not the end of the story. It is the equipping for your next chapter. From this point on, every step you take, every decision you make, every yes and every no is no longer just about you. It is about the mission attached to what God has placed in your hands. By now, you see it. This surprise from God is not just a sweet moment of encouragement. It is a mantle, a mission, a calling. And because of that, you are standing in front of one of the most serious crossroads of your life, the crown decision moment. You feel the pull clearly. On one side is the easier way: stay halfway in, halfway out. Keep your faith just soft enough to be acceptable, just quiet enough not to disturb anyone. Be spiritual, but not surrendered. Love God, but still live chained to the opinions of people. On the other side is something much harder and far more holy: full obedience. Walking differently, speaking differently, loving differently, even when it costs you invitations, approval, or the comfortable version of your old identity. Deep down, you know this is not a small stylistic choice. This is about what sits on your head applause, or a crown. You cannot carry both the constant need for human validation and the crown of your calling at the same time. One of them will eventually slip. Either you tighten your grip on what people think and slowly let your calling erode, or you grip what God has placed on your life and accept that not everyone will understand you, like you, or stay. That's the tension you feel right now. The crown is not about ego or superiority. It's not about being more chosen than anyone else. It is about responsibility. To wear the crown is to say, I will live as one who represents the King. I will steward what I've been given, my story, my gifts, my healing, my authority for His purposes, not mine. The crown is not decoration, it is assignment. You've tasted both paths already. You know what it's like to live for approval. You twist yourself into shapes that please people. And at the end of the day, you still feel unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. You compromise little by little, and each compromise punches a tiny hole in your peace. You smile on the outside while your spirit quietly grieves, but you also know what it feels like, those moments when you chose obedience instead. You said the hard yes or the costly no. You stood your ground when you could have blended in. You followed the whisper of God instead of the shout of the crowd. And even when it hurt, something in you felt right, solid, whole. Heaven's well done echoed deeper than any human praise. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for His appearing. That crown of righteousness is not just for apostles and pastors, it is for every chosen one who decides, I will live for His appearing more than for my own appearing. I will live for His approval above every other voice. That is the decision forming in you now. But heaven will not force the crown onto your head. God will present it, invite you into it, shape you for it, but He will not glue it to you. You must pick it up. You must choose to wear it. You must decide. I will not let people, pressure, or fear steal what God has set aside for me. So here, in this holy moment, I want you to mark your decision in a way you can see, remember, and come back to. Go to the comments and write these 4 words, I choose my crown. Don't type it lightly. Let it be a line in the sand. When you write, I choose my crown, you are saying, you choose obedience over applause. You choose calling over convenience. You choose authenticity over performance. You choose to guard what God has placed in you instead of trading it for temporary acceptance. And if this entire journey from the first knock at your door, through the delays, the counterfeits, the unwrapping, the narrow path, and now this crown decision has been speaking directly into your spirit, I want to ask you something from a sincere place. Don't walk this out isolated. Take a moment to like this message if it has confirmed what God is already stirring inside you. Share it with another chosen one who you know is standing in their own crown moment, wrestling between what people want and what God is asking. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, not as a hollow gesture, but as your way of saying, I want to stay connected to words that keep pulling me back into my true identity and assignment. Because your crown is not made of the cheap material of public opinion. It has been forged through fire, washed in tears, and shaped by the hands of a God who saw you when you felt invisible and still called you chosen. Today, heaven lays it before you again, not as a distant symbol, but as a real, spiritual responsibility. Will you leave it on the table to keep everyone else comfortable, or will you pick it up, place it firmly, whisper, "I choose my crown," and walk forward as the one God always knew you were? There is a moment after long warfare when you finally realize you are not fighting for the surprise anymore, you are standing in it. The sleepless nights that once felt endless have broken into morning. The confusion that swirled around your mind has cleared. The heaviness on your chest has lifted in ways you can't even fully explain. You are still aware of battles, yes, but you are no longer living in constant crisis. You sense a quiet celebration in your spirit, not just because circumstances look better, but because you made it through what was designed to break you. You didn't just survive the storm, you came out with something in your hands: clarity, authority, peace, calling, a deeper intimacy with God. Heaven is rejoicing, and whether you realize it or not, you are part of that celebration. But now you face a new question, one many never truly consider. How do you keep what God gave you? How do you steward this surprise so it doesn't get stolen, slowly drained, or quietly buried under distraction? Warfare is one kind of pressure. Comfort is another. Both can be dangerous if you drift. The first key is gratitude. Not a shallow thank you you toss into your day, but a lifestyle of remembering. Remembering who brought you out. Remembering who held you when no one else knew how deep the wounds went. Remembering that this peace you're tasting now did not come cheap. It came through the cross, through the process, through countless unseen interventions from God. You begin to celebrate not just what you have, but who you have. You realize the greatest gift was never the open door, the opportunity, or the elevation. The greatest gift has always been His presence with you in every chapter. That awareness humbles you and protects you from arrogance. It reminds you this is grace, not entitlement. You are a steward, not the source. The second key is prayer, not as a last resort, but as a daily rhythm. In warfare, you cried out because you were desperate. Now, in this quieter space, it can be tempting to pray less, to relax your guard, to let communication with heaven become irregular. But if the enemy couldn't destroy you through attack, he will try to distract you through comfort. So you learn to meet God in the ordinary, in the early morning before the noise, in the small pauses of your day, in the evening when you review not just what you did, but who you became. Prayer becomes the place where you bring the gift back to the giver, asking, "How do you want me to use this? How do you want me to guard this? What needs adjusting in me today?" The Apostle reminds us in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58, "Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm, let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain." That is the posture of this season, standing firm, refusing to be moved, giving yourself fully to the assignment attached to the surprise you've received. The third key is daily alignment. You now know that one big yes to God is powerful, but it's the small, consistent yeses that shape your life. Each day you are choosing, will I walk as the chosen one I am? Or will I slip back into old versions of myself because they feel familiar? So you start building tiny, holy habits that guard the surprise in your life. You feed your mind with truth instead of constant noise. You check your heart for bitterness, envy, and pride before they grow roots. You watch your words, knowing that life and death are in your tongue. You pay attention to your atmosphere and your associations, because you remember how costly it was to get free. Stewardship also means being honest when your heart starts to drift. There will be days when you feel numb again, when old temptations look appealing, when obedience feels hard. Keeping what God gave you doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you bring your struggle quickly into the light instead of letting it grow in the dark. You learn to say, "Lord, I feel myself slipping, draw me back. I feel my fire dimming, breathe on me again. I feel distracted, realign my focus." That honesty keeps the flow between you and God clear. It keeps shame from building walls. It keeps you anchored in the truth that this journey is with Him, not just for Him. And finally, you celebrate not just once, but continually. You celebrate not only when things look perfect, but when you notice small signs of growth, a reaction that was different than the old you, a temptation you said no to, a fear you walked through, a moment where you chose prayer over panic. You give God glory in those moments, and celebration becomes warfare of its own. The surprise is here. Yes, but the story is not finished. You are now in the chapter called Stewardship, learning to walk daily with what you once only dreamed about. And as you do, heaven is not just clapping because you received the gift. Heaven is rejoicing because you are choosing, day by day, to keep it, grow it, and live it out loud. There is a point where the language of soon shifts into the language of now. You have felt it building through the knocking, the waiting, the counterfeits, the unwrapping, the exposure, the numbers, the narrow road, the mission, the crown, the stewardship. All of it has been leading here. This is the moment heaven leans in and says, "Open it now, not later, not someday. Now." You may still feel traces of fear, but notice what else you feel: readiness. Not perfection, but readiness. There is a quiet knowing in you that did not exist before. You have seen God too clearly to doubt the reality of His hand on your life. You have endured too much intentional shaping to believe this is all coincidence. Deep in your spirit, you sense it. This is not just another encouraging word. This is a divine release. The surprise is not hovering in some distant future anymore. It is here. It is the courage in your chest that did not used to be there. It is the clarity in your mind where fog once ruled. It is the tenderness in your heart that survived bitter seasons. It is the authority in your voice when you speak the name of Jesus now, compared to the trembling uncertainty of before. You begin to see that the big surprise is not a single event, but a whole new way of being, a new posture, a new identity lived out loud. The wrapping paper was your process. The box was your old limitations. God has been cutting through layer after layer until the core of who He made you to be could finally breathe. And now that core is shining through. We are reminded in the first letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light." That is your reality now. Not you will be, not you might be, but you are chosen, royal, set apart, his own. The surprise is the unveiling of this truth in you, not just as theology, but as identity. You are no longer just surviving as someone who hopes God cares. You are standing as someone who knows He has called, separated, and crowned you for such a time as this. Look back for a moment. Think of the seasons that almost swallowed you, the nights you thought you would not make it, the mistakes you thought disqualified you forever, the betrayals that tried to convince you you were unlovable. Yet here you are, more awake than you've ever been, hearing God more clearly than you once thought possible. That is not luck. That is preservation. That is proof that hell did not get the final say. The surprise also carries a holy seriousness. You understand now your life is not random, your days are not expendable, and your choices are not insignificant. There is territory in the Spirit with your name on it, people only you can reach in the way you reach them, atmospheres only you can shift in the way you shift them, assignments only you can carry with the particular blend of boldness and tenderness God has formed in you. You are not waiting for permission from people anymore. They did not call you, and they cannot cancel what God has ordained. You walk softer before God, but you walk firmer in the earth. There is a quiet authority in the way you enter rooms now, not arrogance, but awareness. I am carrying something from heaven, and it matters that I am here. This does not mean life suddenly becomes easy. Warfare may flare. Voices of doubt may rise again. Old patterns may try to sneak back in. But the difference now is that you know who you are in the middle of it. You are not fighting for your identity. You are fighting from it. You are not begging to be chosen. You are standing as one who already is. So you lift your head a little higher, not because of your own strength, but because of His choice. You move through your day with a different expectation. You wake up and understand, I am not just getting through today. I am walking out an assignment. Every conversation, every decision, every hidden act of obedience becomes part of this unfolding surprise. Heaven has not just placed something in your hands. Heaven has placed something on you. A mark, a light, a crown, a call. And as you step forward from this moment, you do so knowing the package has been opened, the seal has been broken, the old has fallen away. You are walking as God's chosen one, awake, aligned, and carrying what could not be stopped, delayed, or stolen. The surprise is here. Now you live it. Before you scroll away, pause for one more moment. Chosen one, you didn't finish this script by accident. Something in you stayed, kept reading, kept leaning in. That alone says a lot about who you are and what God is doing in you. If these words have felt like someone was reading your mail, if they've met you in the exact place your heart has been wrestling, if you've felt seen, called out, and called higher, then I want to gently, sincerely ask you to respond in a way that helps this journey keep moving, not just for you, but for others like you. First, if this spoke to you, click like. It seems simple, almost too simple, but it's one tiny way of saying, yes, this hit my spirit. Yes, I needed this. That little action also helps this message reach other weary, chosen ones who are right now where you used to be. Second, if someone's face came to mind while you were reading, a friend, a sibling, a prodigal, a warrior who's tired, share this with them. You never know which sentence might be their turning point, their confirmation, their God. I hear you moment. Sharing isn't just content spreading, it's ministry. Third, I'd love for you to comment something real, not just an emoji and vanish. Take a moment and type, I am chosen. Let it be your public agreement with heaven, your visible echo of what God has been whispering all along. When you see others comment the same, you'll know you're part of a bigger remnant, different stories. Same God, same calling to rise. And finally, if you don't want this to be a one-time emotional moment that fades in a few days, hit subscribe. Stay connected. Let this be one of the voices that keeps pulling you back into alignment when life tries to scatter you again. Not because you need another channel, but because you need consistent reminders of who you are and what you carry. You've walked through the words. Now let your response seal what God has stirred. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and keep walking as the chosen one you truly are.